Abusia ya makwaba shonko so eba POG Media. Ene yaremba kwa highway ne so highway ne de ensem bebre wo so a yenso ya jepene se yebe me abedwafo no ahu de eko ene de eba na dan na eko so ewo highway ne so. Sisi a Ghana youth ena isi ano eni bre aba Captain Smart ono all say sisi ano eye oye chira Kenya for ye chira omo president almost stormy president ne almost stormy Parliament House and the president ne fee no the same thing ever happen Ghana has here ono ankasa Captain Smart no obi lead Ghana youth na say omo abene Jublie House Jublie House chire be a enye asam ketwa because sisi ano Ghana youth ne there because Ghana youth ne there the cost no oman mu ayeden oman mu ayeden asia Ghana youth no mpenfo ka bibi se nsuo taa ponkyerene a ojewo youth no epese omoye oye kyere na just na nado government no almost stormy parliament o mpenfo embrewafu hwan mu Captain Smart say oba be born a hostel no nya bo hostel no dia Ghana youth mu nyina mu nsia na say ondi ye nim na say yenko fire Parliament House and as Jublie House enye asam ketwa kra ebe pese ye be me abidwafo no be me akona yakwa akoti ensema ekona answer na ebe kono owo ensem kan bi afahye your comment section like na share ma afofo so answer into me enkabi medamase
Kenya mebunu I salute you but then che ye be di mo de ye be timi me na me ka kire mo Kenya youth wrong one more demonstration or something happened there with Parliament House. Let me describe it to you. Now what you say na nye se meburu ne pese wo say o man no ma bia antena krom hanya na dwen se na ga Kenya meburu ne pese wo say o man and I want you violent obi anya violent Kwame Nkrumah say change. When it is denied or too long delayed, violence will break out here and there. Not that the men planned or willed it, but the accumulated grievances will erupt with volcanic fury. That's it.
When it is denied or too long delayed, violence will break out.
What do Parliament House one more MP Sabe Neniefra to say Mahama time no one minister Neniefra honorable Dana when where Neniefra
the king of morning shows
Osanso your bow Neniefra and Omasanso abemo yusu crutches or to which I want to come here to say Mimi CPP in Green Street. Wakam. And maybe do Parliament one no. What about TV no? You do say I almost do TV no.
Captain Smart, the king of morning shows.
It's one toy. Na mo amohwe TV so okrom ha no I from say munchima na muchim no mo mrebe so from next year I achim
Omojare. They are sick people.
Me sura sam ka o wo kwa won a e wo platform so mo manage Kenneth mo ne nkafo ye from say chim no mo chim ba mo mrebe so munchim cause I from say chim ti do chim
Wait.
By Facebook, ultimate chim Ghana.
Okay.
I coach him.
Okay.
Some Zugabe. My boyfriend, no.
Wait.
I hear for us for. We'll do Parliament House one. Listen to me carefully. Abayana Nani Efrano. Woman who say, on Timin Kobebia. If really they are violent, they could have, I don't know the words to use. Share, Papa Nan, or to which Muna, Ontimi Nantino. He, on a modern neighbor, he. Youth, the shed piano, Tanana Kunyam, and Yemen could have wounded this man. But they said, no, we are not going to do anything to you. We want development. Ya pe juma na ye, ya pe mpuntuo, ya mase ye be probia, ya mase ye be buobia. When we sika no matama roto, we kum ye nte se de Akuffo Addo, ekum Ghana to, kojo to. Womu no parliament or se ujafo. Say bodyguards or soldier for their post for her. I'm telling you today, Kenya soldier for their post for her. Womu wa near ma, womu de bomb who ban Ghana soldier for muni foko. Me am catch it. Yes, soldier for womu to nkodo or to. Who do me catch it? Soldier for the baby say womu nam Akroma konti blade the crabin shom motom. We soldier ni he odwane okosha soro dem me do nyame mo amunim de ba soldier ni okosha soro dem o pa che soldier ni wakosha soro dem bibini odu aso dem was asana boys no ho bibini on say how be jine o bo mpa e fa kwase tresu kwase konso pie so soldier he on so mu twa no won so man here afa uja for patch so jadi na patch no gwen Ghana for your three more dinchen Kenyans maybe you don't know say Ghana ni wan ye wa botra ye betima ma wa ya de ma na me no eti ye wo baby ye say ensuo taa poncheni a e na oje wo eti ensuo na tai na tai na tai na tai na tai e tai na me ni wi a asa waje wo eti say Ghana ni bufu no so obe ha adwen a ho krom ha se bufu se be ha adwen a me donyame Jublie house Soja for Ghana hamundu 100,000. Once for more Ghana hamundu 100,000. Na prison service kura de mutu okura bi ni ho. Gwen. Enemre. Ena omo tam abantie MP. O se be se yen fa nkosi ba bi ye no obi amepra wo. Ah? Wo obaya ohoi. Oye MPO police amemo wa bo ne video no me sene wo raw one no wahu today you free so onua tie MP say e wo ho a wo mu ya Akromfo no wo mu gua wo mu nyina ye beba be gua mo parliament wo onua mo da be fi say di agro security officers to jani jam MPs asiafo dane mo ti Africa ha jimi sa ye ka sam chema muntie Someone who oh, so sorry, Quasia. You see, Ebusiai, then Tina Ghana needs not play the free. Ecuador, Australia, on struggle, no one yet, Juma. Ghana ni free ha kwadu America on struggle no wanya adwuma o ka te soja ni se masako wachi Wujaf ko wachi won pet trouble ko wachi civil unrest a dangerous time military coup d'etat na enche our accumulated will erupt soldier for the post for Kenya post ni wa address kutu sa do ya pompa bona hem ko when we say the real city baby aye dro no ye be bi wa African country bia if you say you say enkwakwafa we mu he wo mo ya mamafo me na me ka kire wo eboboba say me ya ye wo mi Denmark crowd dey say ye kakra Belgium or mind to say Belgium Ghana buying to be called Maya, when we 7 million, a hawk of Bobbesia, yeah, 30 million. Who's there, Jimmy? On Maya, when we 7 million, 8 million, we have my Belgium 14 man. Mami Google, Obian find the phone. Audio Google the population of Belgium, ma'am. Ma'am. Belgium population. Say the population of Belgium. Odoko.
Conclusion has come.
Say only 11.6 million. 11.69 million. Belgium a co money pa. Say, Omadru 11 million. For some 12 million. Yeah, 30 million. Now, any pa 30. Aqua nipa 11. Yeah, Jimmy, Mama Yabusia.
Conclusion has come.
Shortly, there will be a civil unrest in this country. Say, I'm penny for and Trasian. Oh, what's the Akroma away or bar? Maybe they'll be throwing who? Sister, hey, would that? Where are your bar? What do you police for him? The youth of this country must arise, and it must be now. The youth of this country, we must arise, and it must be now. Try answer. Because this is a very beautiful girl. The one federal minister there, you know. Heard him? But you see, Okuta Kenyan flag.
Conclusion has come.
Making sure that you will not eat our future. You have to protect our future. Okay? Once a police in Wayam mobile. What did the police need to be here? Eh? Men me catch up. You were posted for baby Akroma. Omuko Besiamo as a police in Bakubi. Na our my 7. Abai by no man post no time no to baby. Say why kakraka na fu na doa. Na be say police officer. Why say fu? Na be dey no betu betu mirika. Le wi bia ma ne bia di. Eti why dudu. But when we are youth this sir. Omuko omachi. We are be ma fa nsaka no. We are be ma fa nsaka no. Ghana meburu say na sese sha ase ye. Ensuari dia wo de bebo no so. Ba obesan ba. Den na obeye. Omanya yetimu sese ya me no kasai no. Eniema akoso no ehu chen Kenya. Yen yaji en COVID-19 levies no mame. Na pe oba na adabi mame Kenya MP oba na ne efra no. Give me that video. Listen to the woman. Na aya sign language papa no. Monya no picture was there. Now on chem.
I'm glad that I have, and I thank you for the opportunity to also, with my colleagues, oppose this motion. Mr. Speaker, I've heard a colleague use the book of Nehemiah to prosecute her support of this motion. But what exactly did Nehemiah say when he was urged to retreat? What was Nehemiah's decision when people were trying to distract him from his work? Mr. Speaker, Nehemiah said, I am doing a good work and I cannot come down. And that's what Gen Z are also saying to the executive and to members of parliament, that they are doing a good work, standing up, speaking for themselves and for their colleague young men and women who are out in the streets, Mr. Speaker, and they cannot come down. And neither should we in this Senate. How can we go on a recess? Why are we going on a recess? We have just come from a 3-week recess period, Speaker. Why do we need 2 more weeks to reflect? This is a house of reflection, and we have to do it while we're sitting in these seats and when we're speaking in these microphones. That's what we're here to do. Parliament stands to represent its people. Parliament, Mr. Speaker, does not clothes to run away from its people. I want to urge and persuade those who have not spoken yet to also concur in opposing this motion because of respect for the young men and women who have lost lives, who are now muted because they cannot speak.
I want to cry.
Due to yesterday's horrifying scenes, we can't go home. Are we trying to say that renovations of windows and offices are more important than speaking for bloodshed and lives lost yesterday? We cannot, Mr. Speaker. And I, as a young person, as the first young person speaking to this motion, as a youth in this house, I am speaking for the youth who are outside of this house.
I want to cry.
We cannot go on a recess. It is wrong, and it would be completely insensitive to do so. Mr. Speaker, darkness fears democracy. I rarely wake up in the morning wishing for my eyesight to be restored, but what a sight to be able to behold. This last week had me aching with desire to see my fellow youth in the most spectacular display of patriotism, camaraderie, and putting up a first-rate masterclass on demanding that governments be held to account for the entire world to see. And yes, they have seen. But unity, Mr. Speaker, has been violently gunned down in the streets, not by men, but by monsters who have no concern for human life.
Captain Smart.
Although this government has demonstrated that lifeless Kenyan bodies are not to take precedence over their punitive finance bill, young Kenyans have looked their oppressor dead in the eye and shown them that when it comes down to the wire, there are only two times to be brave: when you feel like it and when you don't. My profound disappointment with the current government and its forceful assault on crowds of innocent youth, Speaker, by its nefarious police officers who have gone rogue on unarmed young citizens peacefully exercising their constitutional right towards an uncaring, corrupt, and wasteful government in their eyes that has turned its back on them cannot be emphasized enough, Speaker. The brute force used against young, unarmed protesters reveals the operating system built into the fabric of today's government. And when they kill us, Speaker, they're killing themselves. The arrogance from some of these top government officials has been outrageously condescending to young people, disgusting and reminiscent of narcissistic abuse. You call us wankers and clueless children of plunderers. Then you say you're proud of us for making our voices heard peacefully. Then abduct defenseless children using state machinery and escalate a peaceful demonstration of young people with phones, twigs, and water bottles in their hands into barbaric scenes of bloodshed. Young people, Mr. Speaker, were not out to kill. In fact, I was here on this premises yesterday when everything set off. And whilst I was separated from my security guard, Mr. Speaker, I also saw another member of parliament from the National Assembly who is a wheelchair user who voted yes to the finance bill, also having been separated from his team and his aides and bodyguard. He was stranded, Mr. Speaker, couldn't run, couldn't hide in his wheelchair. And you know what happened when those kids entered this premises? 3 young boys saw this member of parliament who voted yes for the finance bill, and instead of reprimanding him, instead of reading him their minds, giving them a piece of their minds, they actually carried this member of parliament in his wheelchair to the tunnel so that he can go and seek refuge across in Bunge Towers. And then the 3 boys ran back and joined their fellow comrades. That's what happened. These kids don't operate in mendacity, Mr. Speaker. They are moral youth who are just trying to get their voices heard. So this peddling of a message or narrative that these youth are evil, they are killers and criminals, they're not. That is completely misguided and untrue. Why don't these policemen punch their own weight class, Mr. Speaker? That's my question. I've been asking myself, would they come into parliament and try and abduct or take on Aledama or Lekina? Would they be able to have the balls to come and abduct and violate the safety of Samson Cherargei, they wouldn't, Speaker, because they know that all they're doing is showing a brute force, using their shields and using their armor and using their artillery, pouring it on young defenseless Kenyans. And you know, clinical psychologists will tell you that narcissists will first love bomb you, then they'll manipulate you.
Thank you.
Then they'll gaslight you into believing their lies.
What's it? What's it say? Nipa. What shall the socha? Oh, sorry. Hey, they be a catch up say ye boo my ye boo political party. Well, baby, I didn't do. It is going and coming to happen here in this country called Ghana, and it will be very soon.
Of morning shows.
Confusing has come.
We, the youth, we will pour out on the streets of this country very soon, maybe before elections. Mark it somewhere. Why do you say? Yes, bro. Why do you say yes, bro? Yes, bro. Wapa, mamimbo pi. Neshe mebuna. Bebe fiye ni mhasisia. Opa jime chinye. Na me kasa womra. Once I maybe catch once I mebo whistle. You think I've forgotten? I haven't forgotten. Sadi ebu mai. But you say ni ebu on mine ana. Hey, Earth Road. Peter, Earth Road. I will sit down we are. Earth Road na yedi Earth. You say Earth yedi. Just about 3 weeks ago, na 570 Ghana cedis. And now, Yebusaya, 1,420 Ghana cedis. Just 3 weeks ago, I did a movie from 550 Ghana. I could do over 1,400. Yes, a copper rod, 12 baby. How can we live in such a country? And then, Akuffo do nebusu afobi. Et me atam $2 million. E be a restaurant. E be a man girlfriend. Ne girlfriend. Our cantonment. Wet me akukudro. Et me aka. Our program na say send obano. Me girlfriend me dono. My man restaurant $2 million. Abua.
Bini e nipa.
We are say men near time no one no ya. Na a mempunu gukro yi munya djuma nya. Mewa. Yes see. When we are MPs no. MPs no omodo omokoro he omusuro. Ghana MPs no yedo omokoro. Ghana MPs na ko ye no omokoro Kenya. Na wale no omokoro no. Akwa we na chi se jonkuma pa o. Enso nyo no a. Le. We di poison ewu. Jonkuma di poison ewu. This a won't be oya we. Kano krechere mo am say ya no oya. And omode Ghana MPs ko mo ba no asem na ombeka he. Om say Ghana ye parliament ho no. Any exit point to be exit point mponche. Mponchi, mo pa exit point. Na mo bokro no a, mo nya exit point adwane. Ye beba bachi mo agua mo heavy.
Someone ana someone.
Mo pa exit point.
Ojai.
E dey akoyin.
Ojai.
Mo pa exit point akoyin.
Ojai.
Baby exit point waru kwa wa ko baby e do fa e.
Ojai.
Ye do no je. Ye do dware. Ye beba betom wo parliament ho.
Ojai. Ojai.
Na me da sante hinase. Bag bin kwasra no. Miwura nyame hira wo.
Listen to
Asante hinu mo aburu. O se dembe pa na wa parliament wo bia pesoko. Ade wo so kwasom. Me de pa de wo. Obia pesoko. Bia pempiedi. Peter onya obedi. Eko. Member of Parliament for the constituency. Eko. Obi anyo obedi. Otu for se dem pa na wo. Dem pa na wo ho a bosha MPC nim sa bosha ya me she bintimi ndi so. Ba na o hye sa abono. Asante ni ya me hya miwura. Hwe ebusua yi. Yes, one way betu lithium, Peter, ewo Infantsman constituency no. Parliament kura emma wo mutu bi kratao, but we must start dwirim crofo banch ne bode etugu. Me wo ba for me the second betu twaw, me catch your plane. Wa wo ye be man aya fosoro ho. Me the second betu twaw te sadam, so abodama. Abai ma madwuma nyei. Me de me widi Addo afuo yesi betu lithium na ye dream for tugu na komo debe wuntua be kapre me say mo amo afuo ho no obi ammo ne seka no ho adan amene ben no adan na mutete ni pasa abai we say or the 150 million Ghana cedis and the kotete ekwan or the kopache portals but omo kai saska no say yes they can't account for 59 million Ghana cedis out of the 150 million
mayana manye
portal na Akuffo say I say me catch us say action speaks louder than words be so share be maybe Australia on to show him straight no Australia na wa bodam Mendi na chinda bema bia we oba woto we bema woto ono bonko mo sere te se de court menim we kam 3 achi na osere don't me show dem sere wadimi mendi na chi obekun
mama mistiano
obekun me kacho na ye dim krofuafuo yes say Akuffo Japade I want Infantsman constituency MP affiliate to yeah first say MC oh woman render omumi enu ina hopeless Ophelia say engagement ne kura ontimi ama we MC your buy ontimi nka hwe. And yes, I want to be in Kabibio, but want to be in Kashi. MC no man Infantsman, want to be in Yahe. It don't know which way. Ghana Hakra mining law and Kasakurano. It does not empower our district assemblies. May I have said it and let me repeat. And it will surely happen. If I were the president, we will stop mining in this country for 2 years. Yabaya mrebi afufro. Say Ghana you go there with 2%. If you can't give me 45%, leave my gold. Yeah, the bedo. If I were the president, Nanado, besides what didn't I tell him? Ewo Nima. Many Frank and a corner on one fray and say Yamra. No person who at the corner shemi mua, the what's Akukudrono. Now what try us or be one the corner shemi. Agufado. Na bomb ti wo ho.
Someone and someone.
So what the corner woman mua. Emma me bodu. Asabni me so can say Rebecca Akuffo have any catch say you are the kind of journalist we need in this country. Auntie Becky, today am I the same kind of journalist you need?
We need
Auntie Becky? Am I still your darling boy? Because that time I was helping your husband to become president so you can be first lady.
Mayana,
am I still your darling boy?
Mayana manye.
Wow! Ediana mbu wafoma. Eti omanya ye wumu say ya ye timu say no. Oka ye say o kan ka asem say de tie de mendi ata meyew. Me na me ka kire wo. Eno na nkrofo ka say kwame nkroma no.
We ne ensema ekoso ewo highway so eye Captain Smart and or say eye Kenya or ye kire na youth ne ye no the same thing ebe happen wo Ghana has ya ono and be bo history na say Ghana youth no ya kwa dismantle Jublie House any asam ketewa kora bere abidwafo na se omo je pene kokotis a odi wi e de emai medamase